primary, secondary, and tertiary compounds. Now, a primary carbon atom, a primary halogenoalkane, is when you have the functional group bonded to only a primary carbon. But what is a primary carbon? A primary carbon is bonded to only one other carbon atom. So you see, this is a functional group. This is bonded to this carbon. So this is the carbon we're going to consider. And this carbon is bonded to only one other carbon, which means that this is a primary carbon. Okay? So that's a primary carbon. And then a secondary carbon. So we're going to look at the functional group. So the functional group is here. This functional group is attached to this carbon. So we're going to look at this carbon, and this is attached to 1 and 2 carbon atoms directly. So this is a secondary carbon. So a secondary carbon is bonded to 2 other carbon atoms. So this is going to be, in this case, this is going to be a secondary halogenoalkane, because the halogen is attached to a secondary carbon. A tertiary carbon now, so here we have a functional group. This is the carbon that we're going to consider. So this is attached to the functional group. So we consider this. And this is attached to 1, 2, and 3 carbon. All right. So this is a tertiary carbon, a carbon bonded to 3 other carbons. Now let's see a few examples. So state and explain whether the following molecules are primary, secondary, or tertiary halogenoalkanes. So let's put the halogen here. This is the carbon we're going to consider. This is attached to only 1 carbon. So this is a primary halogenoalkane because the halogen is attached to a primary carbon. You have to be very careful. We're not counting the carbon atoms bonded to the halogen. The halogen will always be bonded to a single carbon because it cannot form 2 bonds. You cannot have like Cl bonding with 3 carbon. That's impossible. The Cl or any other side chain will be bonded to only 1 carbon. So you have to consider the carbon to which the side chain is bonded. So here, let's see the next example. So here you see, so this is the functional group. This is bonded to this carbon, and this one is bonded to 1 and 2. So this is a secondary halogenoalkane. So the Cl is bonded to a secondary carbon atom. You could also say that it's bonded to a carbon atom that is bonded to 2 other atoms, 2 other carbon atoms only. This one, so this is the halogen. It's bonded to this carbon. So this is bonded to only 1. So this is a primary. So the Cl is bonded to a primary carbon.